My therapist said, yo, I wouldn't do that if I was you. So,
Your therapist said no?
Yeah. Everybody like think like being on demon time is actually cool, but nah, you crashing out. Like everybody's crashing out. When I tell you I was bawling, crying, it just started coming out of me. When you witness a hit, you become like a fiend. You start chasing that.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Mia Bell, your host of BET Talks, and today I am so excited about the conversation that's about to go down. I'm talking fashion, music, community, all things art, and Harlem personified. Ferg is in the building. What's going on?
Going on.
Let me get that pound because I got my ring on.
Yeah, you got it upside down. I don't know why girls be putting the rings, because y'all like to show the nails, right?
Yes, and the heart.
And you ain't got the French tips.
We gonna talk
you knew
about
I was coming.
We gonna talk about the French tip because you gotta give me some
But you could
tips.
be a fun girl with some French tips.
I know, but I gotta get my
French tips.
I gotta get my creativity off. And we just so happen to be matching because we are aligned in this space.
Divine alignment. Mm-hmm. Yes.
The music is showing off exactly where you are in this space. And I'm so excited to talk about the project. But before we begin, we gotta play a little game.
What game we playing?
Would you rather, okay? Now, I'm gonna go Chicago drill, UK drill, and New York drill.
UK drill, because I like the way they rap and the sound of the words are shaped different. And it sounds like daggers hitting the drums.
Okay. Now, let's go food. Chopped cheese or Philly cheesesteak?
Well, I'm vegan, so I do a vegan chopped cheese.
Yeah? And where do you get yours from?
I make mine.
You make your own?
Yeah. Ghetto Gastro make a good vegan chopped cheese too, though.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, chefing it up, vegan style.
Yeah.
We're gonna take it to the fish sandwiches because we know Harlem.
Okay.
That or bacon shark, Trini boy.
Why you gonna do this to me? All right, so if I'm in Trinidad with my granddad,
Okay.
bacon shark is crazy.
Very.
I have to be in Trinidad.
Okay.
But most of the time I'm in New York. So if I'm in New York, I'm going to Famous Fish when I was a pescatarian.
Okay.
Man, that was tough.
Yeah.
That was a tough one.
Now, you got the jewels on. Who wore it better, Shabba Ranks or Slick Rick? When it comes to that jewelry, man.
Slick Rick. I don't even remember Shabba Ranks jewelry. I know Slick Rick pieces. I mean, we all look up to Slick Rick.
And to this day, he's still rocking them.
Exactly. When you got the eye patch with the diamonds, you can't beat that.
This is true. Now, whose closet would you rather borrow clothes from? Dennis Rodman or Marilyn Monroe?
I would have to say Dennis Rodman, because there's not much I could choose from with Marilyn Monroe. And I don't really know her for her clothes. Nah, if you would have said like Anita Baker, or Patti LaBelle, or like something like that.
What would you borrow from Miss Patty?
Her wigs, all of her clothes, because she's a classy woman. I would have my girl definitely shop in Miss Patty's closet.
Yeah.
Oh, Little Kim, all of those Fendi furs and Versace wigs.
All of that. Now, I feel like it's really important, and those who know you for real, they know that the labels and the flashy stuff and the high level of taste has been something that you were introduced to from very young. I want you to go back to your childhood and kind of give me some of those memories of the best in fashion that you were exposed to. Of course, rest in peace to your father who, you know, showed you the ropes, but take me back there to a young Ferg.
My mom and my dad always got me fly, and they never allowed me to wear what other kids was wearing. So by the time kids was buying the new Jordans and wearing them, mine was already finished from playing tag. And my dad is like, you can't wear those to this party. And like, he'll put air raids on me with like a camo suit, white, black, and gray. He made it a point to make sure I was different. Speeding forward to when I became a teenager, I used to paint t-shirts in junior high school for money. And
how much you was selling them t-shirts for?
Anywhere from like $30 to like $200.
Okay. Oh, high end.
Yeah, it just depends on what you want. If you want the name in the back, if you want the, you know, I could freak it for a little extra. And then I got into silk screening, and that was like more of a mass production thing. And I was printing early stuff for like Black Rob, LL Cool J. I printed stuff for Loon, printed stuff for Making the Band.
Now, even with the names that you just mentioned, I feel like that's an experience that you could only really get in New York.
It was mostly my dad.
Who had the connect?
Yeah, he had to connect, but he had a kidney failure. So like after school, I would come and help him. He taught me the trade of shooting the screen and printing t-shirts. So he couldn't do a lot of the heavy lifting, so I'll be like printing t-shirts. We talking about like 400 shirts front and back. And then I got into internships with Sean John and Inichi, and then RocaWear and Awful Dodger. So a lot of people don't know that RocaWear and Awful Dodger, they both was in the same building, owned by Sean Carter himself.
Wow.
That's my internship life. And then I went to art school. I majored in fashion and fine arts, art and design. What that did was it just enhanced the vision that I've had, because I've always knew that like my vision was beyond Harlem,
Right.
but like that school just opened me up to the world.
What were you listening to when you were printing shirts with your father? What was the soundtrack to that?
So my father was listening to like a lot of Isley Brothers and the Whispers and those type of things. It was like bad boy stuff.
Right.
Cause he did the Bad Boy logo, he did the Uptown Cats logo, so he always used to get the music before it was out. But then as I started printing by myself, I was listening to like Justin Timberlake, Pharrell, and my battle rapping days. But then I was heavy influenced by Rough Riders, DMX, Jay-Z, and Meek Mills, Kaboom, like all the battle rappers coming out of Philly.
Now, we see how all of your musical influences are kind of brought into one, just sonically, the way that you play around with your production and just your sound in general. What would you say the last 4 years have been like for you, and when did the process actually start?
I think the process started from the beginning when I created my first album, Trap Lord. That whole process basically started from when I was born, because up until that point of me making the album, I had all of those experiences to talk about. They say like, you know, Reasonable Doubt arguably is Jay-Z's best album, because he had a whole life of experiences to put into that project.
Facts.
So when I made Trap Lord, I was basically creating a world, I was creating my own genre, like I just poured everything into it. When you witness a hit, you become like a fiend. You start chasing that. Sometimes you could get pulled out of the art. And sometimes art takes time to step back and like analyze and self-reevaluate, and there was a lot of growing. We had the pandemic happen.
Where you did a lot of painting. I want you to talk about that.
Yeah.
And getting back into your art bag.
It made me realize like things that I used to do that used to like make me feel good. It wasn't like no rapper. Can I say?
Yeah, you can say
It
whatever
wasn't
you
like no rapper.
Right.
It was like straight up, you know, Daryl. Like, what does Daryl like to do? I got so detached from who I am because I was just living this rapper lifestyle. And you get caught up in it, like you moving fast. I've been on tours for 10 years straight. So when the pandemic happened, it actually was good for me because I was able to sit down with myself and think about what makes me happy besides like the surface level stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like chasing the girls or being able to skip people online because I'm me, or like all of that. It's like what actually puts me at peace. What can I do on my free time that like I actually enjoy that I can do to myself? I had to rediscover that, and I was like, oh, drawing, oh, designing clothes, you know, and I'll take the art very serious.
Yeah. And you're doing it. Your album cover is your work.
That took a lot, and this whole album was about being Daryl, right? It's about the man behind the man. Some things is gonna be vulnerable, and for me to show my art is very vulnerable because I'm being subjective to like a lot of criticism or whatever the case may be. But I'm like, hold up, when is me putting my art out gonna start? So I'm like, it starts now with this album.
With this album, sounds like a journal entry, one long song. This sounds like a homecoming for you, like you're home. And not just home, Harlem, home at heart, you know? That's what we talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's deep.
The heart is the soul.
Right.
And that don't got a place. I take this energy wherever I go. I go live in Paris, it's gonna be the same thing.
Now, let's get into the project. You show where the young kids are really getting it off. We got Didi Osama, you know, Bloody Osiris. What was that energy like? And were you guys all in the studio together? I know they were super hyped to work with you.
No, we wasn't in the studio together, and I chased Didi Osama down for about mad months.
Really?
These kids don't care about nothing. They got their own world. Like, you know, it's respect and love. Didi is actually from my block in Harlem. And when I did Light Work, the song, I was thinking about when Kanye and Jay-Z did Ham. And they took a Lex Luger beat and they enhanced it. They put the opera and they put like the strings and made it very orchestral. I got samples from Solar Soul, and y'all know who Solar Soul is.
Yeah.
Are you ready? The beginning of Belly, the intro, they made that. And so I went to go see Jazzy B, and he gave me like original vocals from 1994. So I was like, I'm gonna take Jazzy B, Solar Soul, I'm gonna put it with MC Vert, I'm gonna put Didi Osama on there, and I'm gonna have a young fashion icon, Bloody Osiris, opening the whole album up. I'm giving the youth the energy.
Yeah.
And then I got Harlem Alumni, which used to be the boys choir in Harlem, doing a hook. So it's like a super uptown record.
That brings me to Alive. I want you to dig deep into that because you talk about a lot of the things that you were running from.
So Alive, Unhappy, I produced the first portion of it with my boy Crash. It's so funny saying his name because my dog name is Crash too, so I'm thinking of my dog. He programmed the drums and everything. I gave him the idea. I'm just rapping. I'm like, I meditate to stop all of the brain fog, logged out and turn Instagram off. God whisper, take all of them chains off. Fuck, I spent 300,000 on the range for. Validation, what I used to aim for. I try to hide the shame with the fame, y'all. I got guilt that drove a nigga insane, y'all.
Yep.
Suicide became one of my main thoughts. Uber X for a nightcap, addicted to the learning how to fight that. Jogging in the dark, I had to get my sight back. You can't heal these injuries with an ice pack. Let me head to therapy and I'll be right back. The beginning of the song is like, alive. I'm awakening, I'm alive, like I'm meditating.
That's my part.
Coming into these realizations, and then the beat switches to a soulful beat where I talk about the unhappy part.
It's important. You really speak into your soul.
Yeah.
Now, did you go to therapy?
Yeah.
Are you still in therapy?
No.
No?
Nah, not in therapy right now, but
What prompted you to go? Who pushed you?
not feeling like I was enough. I say in Alive Unhappy, I'm trying to fulfill a hole. It was a hole in my soul, and I needed to close that, you know, and I needed to figure out why I kept wanting to work, why, who was I trying to prove to be the best all the time? Like, what was I trying to reach? It was like a never-ending thing, and that got scary to me. I never wanted to be an artist that crash out because, like, you don't know when to rest. You know, that's when
Because you're trying to keep up with something.
Yeah, and it's like, really, you just trying to keep up with yourself, running from yourself.
Right.
So really, you need to bring it back, get grounded, and be in yourself. Face whatever you got going on, demons or whatever. Yeah,
Did
relax.
therapy help you get vulnerable on this project where
For
you're
sure.
able to, you know, speak all your truth?
5 sure, Ensure. All the shores.
Of course. Now, you always are on your fly. You're a fashion guy. And on Allure, we talking all of that. Pass me the Loire. Talk to me. What we got on today?
These look like denim, right?
Okay.
Touch those. This is leather.
Yes.
It look like denim though. This is leather. This is a crocodile boot.
Y'all see that?
You got Ferg apparel, leather, biker leather on, Devoni jewelry, glow in the dark ring. We got yams on spin.
Rest in peace.
You know I love yams so much I had to get another piece.
Now, we got Future on the track.
We didn't have Future on it at first. I sent him the record and it took a minute for him to do it. We got that joint done at like 1:30 at night.
Wow.
We recorded in his crib. He had silk Louis Vuitton pajamas on, but like this man like came and blazed that. We did 2 records that night.
Now, that brings me to the ladies. We gotta go French tips. Coco Jones did what she had to do. You're sampling one of the greats on that. I do
All
know
the
French-
ladies that come to my show should have French tips off rip.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You can't
We
say
are.
mine aren't fly though.
They fly, but they ain't French tips.
Okay, French tips do.
Because you can
invite
always
a
get
certain
fly,
kind of
but I'm here
caliber.
today.
Right.
You get fly every day.
Right. Shouts to the dead homies.
Shout outs to the dead homies.
Rest
they
in
with
peace.
me.
Yams.
Still, you know, we got 5 deaths in the mob alone.
Right.
We got Yams, we got Pressy, we got Josh, we got Jay Scott, and we got China, a mob affiliate. And then that's just out of the mob alone. DA, EJ, rest in peace, my Harlem buddies.
So many
So it's a
people.
lot of people that I name in that song specifically too, that is not with us, but still with us in another dimension.
Of course.
Yeah, I thought it was stupid to like go to like grave sites and stuff because I'm like, yo, spirits could go anywhere. Like,
Right.
But I understood that these things and places are temples for a reason. And it's been years since I went to visit my father's gravesite, and when I went, I'm talking about like since he passed, I didn't go.
Same. I have not been to mine. My
Really?
father's, yeah.
Wow, sorry to hear that you're passing. My father died 3 days before my 17th birthday. I didn't go up until like a few years ago, and I'm 36. And when I tell you I was bawling, crying, I did not understand. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go. There ain't nothing gonna happen. You know, my father is with the angels and the energy, and I went, and that just started coming out of me. I was like, oh, this is how therapy works. It's like the unseen. It's like they do things, give you tools, give you exercises, and magically things start to get light. We think about the physical or the metaphysical. The metaphysical world is still just as powerful, because when we think about the spirit of Kobe, the Mamba mentality, that's what the spirit is. That's what the energy is. People still sell records being dead.
That's true.
Cause the spirit, it's like the energy of them, it don't die.
Yeah.
So like the memory of someone's spirit can cultivate a culture.
I love it. Talk that talk. We got Mary J. Blige on the project.
Mary is the first R&B artist I ever heard. I always listen to Mary when I want to soothe my soul. Mary just the GOAT. You know, when I took songs to her, she wound up doing 2, but she picked 4. She's on Chosen and she's on Casting Spells.
Yeah.
And my mom is on that song Chosen too.
Oh, wow.
So it's like not
What did it mean to her to be on a song with
my
Mary?
mother is like the coolest woman alive, like nothing budges her. But like I think things settled into her a little bit more slower, because she doesn't realize it until people will be like holding it up in front of her face like, did you see it? Like, girl, don't you know you're on a song with Mary? And she obviously loves Mary. She sent me texts like, I've listened to this song, I've cried, and you know, I've gotten a lot of texts like that. Like, I cried, listened to this song, I cried. And there's multiple songs that has that effect. So I'm like, yes, it's moving people.
Yeah. You have your record titled Pool.
Yeah, Pool.
Where you get real vulnerable and you tell us your story. And I'm so proud of you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you.
Because so many people need to be able to have something to resonate with and to say, I've been through that too.
Yeah.
You talk about being violated as a kid. You talk about what made you, you know, run in different circles with women, and what made you kind of like, you know, want to kind of get that off. You talk about
toxic masculinity.
Yeah, dig deeper on that.
You know, it's a lot of unwiring and breaking conditions and traditions.
Right.
You know, we grew up in Harlem where we like, yo, how many, you know, all that energy. And it's like, when you realize like that ain't about nothing, you're just making yourself more tired, more sleepy. Toxic masculinity is not just off the violation, it's about how I was raised, how I seen my father have different women, how I seen my uncles, and what I thought was cool. And then like really wanting to settle down and like have a family and figure that out.
Right.
Because it's like, if I keep going at this rate, I would never be self-fulfilled, and that's what I'm looking for, self-fulfillment.
You giving us where you are now. We got the past, we got the present, and the future. We got it, we love it, and we can't wait to see you continue to grow from this. And before we get up out of here, we're gonna end with the game Glow Up Stories. Who had the better glow up, G-Unit or Wu-Tang? And I mean evolved in all ways.
I would have to say Wu-Tang because RZA be like a huge director, write and score music for films. We have Method Man, actor. Raekwon just hit me the other day. He has a new dispensary, and they all still performing, doing shows and stuff. So
Impact, ASAP Mob or Young Money?
come on, man.
What you gonna say?
Me,
Duh.
my crew.
Yeah. What is the situation with the mob now?
It ain't no situation with us.
Yeah, it's
we
life.
We just situated.
Right. And get into the manyan.
Exactly. And I want.
Dipset or the Locks?
I love Dipset, but I also love the Locks. The Locks.
Yeah?
Because Dipset, they motivated my style and just like the flamboyant Harlem energy. But like the Locks, it was the words for me that like really soaked inside of me. The words and how serious they take the craft, and
there we go.
Yeah, like they was acting like we was in Harlem. You know, they had the beach chair on the stage, and that's a very Harlem thing to do.
Yeah. Hopefully Dipset does not get upset that you said that.
I mean,
Harlem?
They did it. Like,
right. They did it to themselves.
Yeah. I mean, but they still them.
Yeah.
They still legendary.
Of
like,
course.
It's just that like during that particular moment, it was a battle.
Yeah.
And I'm a battle rapper. So
Thank you, Daryl, for being on the show. BET Talks, we did it. That's a wrap.